Good afternoon. In this video, I want to look a little more closely at the King James 2000 and its claims about what it is. And in the preface, it reads, "The King James 2000 is not a new version. It is a King James version brought forward 400 years." It says here, the intent of King James 2000 is to keep every King James version word the same, unless a misunderstanding, in other words, what they're saying, either who they think had a misunderstanding, maybe the translators of the King James Bible, or a gross word order error in today's usage must be averted. He goes on here, no corrections. Now listen, no corrections, quote unquote, or textual considerations, quote unquote, are taken into account, since the King James 2000 intent is to preserve the King James Version as is, except for truly necessary changes. So this is the sign of our age, where you can make a Bible that changes words and then claim it's still King James Bible. Only a Bible in the Bible issue can someone change words and claim it's really it's still the same Bible, when of course it's not. If you try doing that with Shakespeare, it would be a joke. If you change Shakespeare's words and then say, well, it's really Shakespeare, we just updated them, but actually changed his words. You didn't update anything, you actually changed his words. You'd be shown to be a liar. But with the issue of the King James Bible, you can say anything, and people will believe you. So look at here, necessary changes. In other words, he thought there were errors. They thought the errors in the King James Bible, whoever the creators of the King James 2000 was. And first place you see is Daniel 3. Daniel 3:325. Instead of Son of God, you have Son of the Gods, 325. So there you have a change right there in the King James 2000 from the reading like the modern versions. It removes Son of God and puts in Son of the Gods. That's one of the things they felt was a necessary change. Then you go here, New Testament, in chapter 23, verse 24. They have you blind guides who strain out, not at, out a gnat. So they changed that there to match the modern versions. Again, they said here there were no changes in words, when in fact they've changed many words. And this took me 10 minutes. This wasn't even an in-depth study here. Moving on here. Romans 8:8. Romans 8:8. The Spirit himself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. So they've changed that. Of course, King James reads correctly, the Spirit itself bears witness. So here they have them again, Romans 8:16. Himself, that's the modern version reading. They don't follow the King James in that. And they said they thought that was a necessary change. They take the word out. They take the word charity out in chapter 13 in 1 Corinthians. Also, they removed the word testament throughout the book. It's now covenant. So you won't find the word New Testament, the words New Testament in King James 2000. It's all covenant. Move on here. Let's see what else. Philippians, they take the word dung out in chapters 3, verse 8, and put rubbish in instead. And of course, dung and rubbish are two different words. If they wanted to put in a modern word for dung, they obviously would have to use a far stronger word, but they put in rubbish. Rubbish is not dung, as anyone would know. So that's a bunch of baloney. That's a modern age Bible. They are reading there, telling you that they've replaced the word, but they've replaced the word with a different word that doesn't have the same connotation. 1 Timothy 6:20. They've taken the word out, science, falsely so-called, what is falsely called science, should be science. They've replaced it with the word knowledge. So there you have again the modern age reading, because one of the gods of this age is science, and you can't attack science because it's one of the gods. That's why they all defend evolution so vehemently, and they just changed the word to knowledge. And I actually took out the word also. It's falsely supposed to be falsely so-called. If I'm correct, corrected on that. But science has been replaced with knowledge. It's a modern age reading. Go to the book of Hebrews, and again they took the word testament out. There's no New Testament. And if you go to Romans 9:16, Hebrews 9:16, they replaced testament with the word will. For where a will is, there must also be necessity, be the death of the maker. And the word will is an NIV reading, not a King James reading. And they took the word testament out. What was wrong with the word testament? Nothing. And yet they should have replaced it. They didn't like the word testament, and they took it out. So you won't find the word testament, just like you won't find the word testament in the New Testament, 2 words New Testament, in any modern Bible, New King James, including they have the word Old Testament, I believe, in at one time, but they took out the word New Testament. So they don't believe the word diatheke, the Greek word, can never mean testament. It always means covenant. Now, if all these things by themselves shows you the changes that were made in the King James Bible from this version. They're claiming we're the same version as the King James Bible after making these changes in these words. Okay, but if there's one single verse that would show that this is not a King James Bible, this would be it. Hebrews 3:16. There they follow the modern reading reads, for who, when they heard, did provoke? Did not all that came out of Egypt by Moses? They follow the modern reading, which is an error, claiming that all rebelled. When in fact the King James makes it very clear that there were 2 who didn't rebel, which were Joshua and Caleb. So here you have an error. Here you have a historical error that's in every modern version, including New King James, where they misread the Greek, and they put a historical error in there by saying that everyone rebelled. They came out of Egypt, when in fact 2 didn't rebel, Caleb and Joshua, and the King James has it right. So here, that one verse, even if they had not changed all the words that I just shown, if they just had one verse in there, this would not be a version of the King James Bible. It has an error in it. And of course, I forgot Acts 12:4. They have Passover, not Easter. So they want to pull this off as a King James Bible and say this is not a new version, when they've actually changed words, and put in modern age Bible words in there that have nothing to do with what the King James Bible said. This is a sign of the culture we live in today, that you can say anything about the Bible and lie about it, and people will believe it. So this guy can say with a straight face and get a copyright. This is a copyrighted Bible, so you can't print more than a few hundred verses without permission. King James Bible is not copyrighted in the United States. You can print your own King James Bibles, and no one can say a word about it. So again, this is more evidence here. You have a King James version 2000, and the editors of this Bible, so-called Bible, were claiming that this is really an updated King James Bible, when in fact they've changed many words in it to take modern readings from it, and have an error in Hebrews 3:16, which is not in the King James Bible. This is a modern age Bible. This is a modern translation. This is not a King James Bible, and just shows you that they have no qualms or problems with saying an outright lie and claiming that they've made nothing. They've made no verbal changes in the Bible, and in fact, when they've made a number of changes, they changed the meaning of those words. Those weren't words they updated. they changed the meaning of those words. And they claim those to be necessary changes. Why? Because they went back to the Greek and Hebrew. And they said the King James Bible had an error in it. And therefore, they changed the King James Bible to match the modern versions. And they rejected the purity of the King James Bible. But Hebrews 3:16, they were shown to be liars. And they put in an error. They put in an error by claiming that everyone who left Egypt rebelled, when in fact Caleb and Joshua did not. So if you're thinking about buying a King James Version 2000, thinking you're getting a King James Bible, you are not. You're getting a phony, a counterfeit. And but that's the age we live in, when the counterfeit wants to pretend that it's the real thing, and those who are selling it will lie about it and not have any qualms about it. So again, King James Version 2000 is not a King James Bible. Amen. Thank you.